Ciao Juventini of the world, my name is Giuseppe, welcome back on the channel. Mixed feelings. I have really mixed feelings about the game of yesterday. Today, post Aston Villa 0, Juventus 0, we'll do it in a total different way. I didn't even open the papers yet. I didn't listen to other creators, to journalists, to hear and listen to their opinion, to complete mine. But I want to go with my own feelings. And I tell you, mixed feelings. Some positive things, a lot of things that I want to improve, but I'm still asking myself, can I blame the team? Can I blame the coach? Can I blame Giuntoli? Certain points yes, certain points no. So let's start immediately with the game of yesterday, the analyze, and then you tell me what you think about it. If we agree, if we don't agree, on what we agree, and what we don't agree. Put a maximum of like if you didn't yet. Please continue to subscribe to the channel because we start. When I tell you mixed feeling, look, we don't lose, but we don't win. We don't concede, but we don't score. We don't risk much at the back, but on the other side, we don't create enough. We don't take risk up front. We dominate the ball possession, but on the other side, we do nothing with the ball. So you see, for every beautiful thing, there is immediately that mirror effect. There is immediately the, yeah, but. Yes, but. Look, I want more. I want more from that team. But the question I have now is, can I pretend more? Because that's the huge, big question I have. Because when I'm looking at the reality, not the excuse, but the reality, the fact is that the coach has really a few options. We don't have a lot of options. And the problem is that the players that are available, well, they are at the moment overused. Look, yesterday, at a certain moment, the 60th, 65th minute, you have a Savona that goes out. Savona has never been used to play all these games in a row, and also with that intensity, with that importance of the game. Then Savona comes from a next gen, before that from the Primavera, before that from the under 17, under 15. He played with all the categories of Juve since under 8, but never he has played Champions League, Serie A at high level, because that's where we are there at 4 points from the top. So yesterday he goes out because he's not used to it. And looking at it, looking at the minutes played by players, I'm scared it's not over. That's also a big one, because today we have a Locatelli that is in form. We have a Cambiaso that is in form. Cambiaso said, more I play, more I feel well, which is nice to hear. But on the long term, how long can he keep that form? How long can he keep playing? By the way, yesterday Cambiaso, we didn't see him. We didn't see the usual Cambiaso, the one that is taking all the field, that is running from one side to the other, that is able not only to stay on the wing, on the left or on the right, regardless, but also cutting in centrally, which we missed a lot yesterday. These central cuts, we never played centrally, and that's another problem. So you see, it's a Juve that, first of all, we have a few options. Then the players that are there, they're overused, and probably that's also the answer why we are not at the moment able to play with more intensity, to not see the pressing that, for example, Thiago was asking his players to do last year at Bologna. Then on the other side, when you are looking at the ranking, there as well you have that mirror effect. Champions League, we are 19th, and that's really ugly. That's really ugly because 19th is closer to the 25th spot, which means you're out, than to the 8th spot, which means that you are immediately qualifying to the knockout stages from the round of 16. That's really ugly, being 19th. On the other side, if you are looking at the ranking of Champions League, you know that we have 8 points, which are not a lot, but that's only 2 points less than all the teams, from some big teams as well, that they have 10 points. In Serie A, we are 6th, and that's ugly for a team like Juve. On the other side, we are at -3 from all the second teams, and -4 from Napoli, that is first at the moment. So in all of that, regardless from everything, taking everything into consideration, the injuries, the players, the few options, we are not at the top in Serie A, not at the top in Champions League, but we are still there alive, and we still can compete to qualify in the first 24, or to compete longer until the end, maybe for the Scudetto. And that's a bit, the mixed feeling that I have. Then, if we speak about the game in a few seconds, Juve that is dominant in the beginning of the game with the ball. Yes, again, I already told you and I will repeat you, dominant, but really low with the domination of the ball possession. You have the ball, you don't risk because you have the ball, so you are not taking risks. But on the other side, we are toothless. We are toothless. That goal that is cancelled is totally correct. because you can't touch a goalkeeper like that. He had him probably in his hands, and then because of the player that is going in contrast on him, well, he lose the ball, so it's totally correct to cancel it. Emery can cry how much he wants. That is a foul in Premier League. This is a foul in Europe. This is a foul in every single football world. But then on this other side, of course, I am regretting today that ball for 4 millimeters is not entering the goal, the header from Conceição. If he went on top corner, probably today would speak about a Juve that won 1-0. It's not the case. It is 0-0 with the miracle Emiliano Martinez that we know it in Champions League wakes up. In Premier League, he sleeps. Unfortunately, we don't play in Premier League. We are playing in Champions League. And that's the Martinez that we found. Then on the individuals, Gatti. Look, Gatti is the surprise that we already spoke about when we debriefed the game of Milano, 0-0 there, to see him on the left side. Look, that's the good thing of Thiago Motta, that changing Gatti, asking him to play on that left side, he's able to actually recuperate Kalulu on his favorite position, that is on the right side, that it's now right back or center back on the right, but playing more on the right, being able to use his right foot, is a really beautiful one. I didn't know if Gatti would have been able to do it. It's already 2 games, and yesterday Gatti played even better than Kalulu. So really great intuition from Thiago Motta. Beautiful execution for Gatti that I want to put there also on the podium. I will tell you my top 3 in a second. So Gatti there is beautiful. It helps, and Kalulu. And indirectly, it also influences and helps the game of Savona. Why? Because Kalulu is a bit more physical, is a bit more understanding of the role of right back. He really can help a Savona that we saw against Milan, against Leao, and also yesterday. So grande, beautiful intuition. Hopefully he can continue like that, because Gatti on the left, Kalulu on the right is something that is really working. Another thing that I really liked was how Danilo entered. Look, a few weeks ago I said it. This is what I'm expecting from Danilo. Until January or until the end of the year, I'm expecting a Danilo that when we ask him to play, that it's a few minutes or from the start of the game, he's giving us his experience. He's giving us the minimum requirement. It's still not the Danilo, and I don't think that we will still see, or we will again see the Danilo that we had and that we enjoyed a few seasons ago, but at least it's the Danilo that enters and that you are confident that he's doing a good game. And that's good, and that's really good. So hopefully Danilo can continue like that. Locatelli yesterday, again, he was everywhere. He was everywhere. Probably the best game of Locatelli this season. But this time, it's not like last season where we said it's the best game of Locatelli, but all the other ones were not good. No, it's the best game on already some good performances from Manu. Yesterday was really a play. A play that is not playing with the magic, with a short dribble, but it's a play that is playing up front, that is playing defensively, that sees the spaces, that goes with these long balls, with short passes. Yesterday, fantastic, beautiful Locatelli that is also saving us. You know, if we are speaking about Emiliano Martinez, that was prime Buffon edition at a certain moment, that save also there from in collaboration, Di Gregorio. Locatelli was really, really good. So grande Locatelli yesterday, that is also finishing on my podium. And then that partnership with Thuram is working really well, which is good, but on the other side, it's also not good. Because we have not a lot of midfielders with all these injuries. Douglas Luiz is not there. Weston McKennie is not there. But the best midfield that Juve has at the moment is Locatelli, Thuram, and Koopmeiners. Which means, we know Italo Locatelli is not an offensive player. It's not the number 10. Kefren Thuram has been tested a bit more up front. He's not that player. He's telling you also publicly, I am not that player. Don't expect a lot of goals from me. By the way, 0 goals at the moment. Could have been 1, but anyway, that was a deflection from the goalkeeper. But that partnership is working really well defensively, which means that you are probably penalizing a Koopmeiners, asking him tasks that he should not do, or that are not the ideal ones for him. Sorry. And that's where we are going towards the negative points. The negative points is Koopmeiners for the second game in a row. If last time it was because of the fever, what a bad game against Milan. It was really the worst one of the game. Yesterday, again, and it's not anymore because of the bad fever. Yes, okay, we can say he didn't train in optimal condition. Yes, we can say that he's still hurting on the ribs. But yesterday, that was not the problem. Look, if we are looking at the end of the first half, and he touched only 9 balls, we can't. We don't have Juventus. Even with a complete team, we don't have the luxury to have our AAA objective from the summer, the one that you spend the most money on. We don't have the luxury to let him touch only 9 balls. If you have 45 minutes with the Koopmeiners, where the team Juventus was playing not not even that bad because we had a lot of possession in that first half. And if you're able to give him only 9 balls to touch, there is a problem. There is a problem of position, that he can't find his position. Yesterday again, he was invisible. Yesterday he disappeared. Yesterday we were not able to see him. When you will see the heat map of Teun, you will see him touching the ball on the left and on the right, so on the wings. But what I would love to see, and that's a request that I'm sending to Enrico Turcato or to Opta, I would love to see one day the off-the-ball heat maps. Because we see the heat maps of where the players are touching the balls. I would love to see them when they are not touching the balls. Where are they? Because that's a problem, you know? Because we want these players to touch more balls. So where are they when they don't touch the ball, when we are not able to find them? I would really love to see it. Of course, when you're watching with your own eyes, when you are watching the game, you see that he was staying there centrally, trying to find his position that he never was able to find. We saw him finding his position in the last 15 minutes. When Fagioli entered at 8 minutes of the end plus the injury time, so let's say 12, 13 minutes, with the Koopmeiners, of course, that was already decreasing in physical condition, but when he dropped back a bit, and when Fagioli played a bit more up front, that's where you saw actually Teun Koopmeiners that was able to be much more involved. Yesterday during the watch-along we said he did much more with Fagioli on the field than the entire 80 minutes before him entering. And that's a problem, which is a pity as well, because Thiago needs to take solutions there much earlier. He needs to say, okay, Koop is not working there, or I change something. That's what we recommended at halftime. Changing something, or you take him out and you let Fagioli play. Then if you don't believe in Fagioli because he's inconsistent, that's a total different story. But you need to take a solution because Koopmeiners was not performing yesterday. Now, I told you about a lot of things. There is one thing that I want to also add, because we are speaking about injuries, and a lot of people will say, Beppe, excuse. No, it's not excuse, it's facts. But on the other side, there is also something that I'm not really happy with from Thiago Motta. It's the fact that, yes, of course, you didn't have a lot of changes. On the bench, only 4. You didn't call up Next Gen, you didn't call up Primavera, it's a choice, okay. But if you take that choice, if you say, okay, we do with what we have, which is great, because you are not blaming anybody, you are not complaining, then I'm expecting, at least in the first 15, at least in the first 30 minutes, a team that is able to create something. I'm not asking to play with full intensity and running and crazy, because then you spend all the energy and you don't have enough resources to manage them for 90 minutes. I understand that. But we never create. That it's in the last 15 minutes, in the first 15 minutes of the second half, or from the first until the 5th minute, we never create something. We never have attempts. We are never dangerous. We are toothless. Looks like, okay, we will try, we will see what will happen, we will not take any risks, but nothing is happening. And that's not okay, because the 11 players that are there on the field, they should give you a bit more. And I don't believe that it's only on the players. I think that Thiago Motta really needs to work on how to find also these central passes. Because if you're not able to find our Koopmeiners, you're throwing it away. And you put him in difficulty. Like yesterday, we've also put Weah in difficulty. That was the number 9 of yesterday. I nearly never mentioned Timothy Weah neither. So it's really seriously a problem. And it's not because Vlahovic, non-Vlahovic. It's not because of injuries, non-injuries. Because I remember Roma, Napoli, Empoli, or not in that order. I think it was Roma, Empoli, Napoli. 3-0-0s in a row, where also there was nothing. We didn't create, we never created. So it's a recurrent problem with Dusan Vlahovic on the field, without Dusan Vlahovic on the field. It's a recurrent problem that the Thiago Motta needs to fix. Injuries, no injuries. There should be a certain moment in the game where Juventus try something, where they put a bit of intensity, where they play a bit faster, when they try to be up front and also with that ball possession playing a few meters higher. Otherwise, we will have a lot of problems. If we are not able to fix that, we lose a man that is Koopmeiners. We lose also the possibility to score, because if you don't go up, you never score. So, and also a Yildiz that is sacrificing a lot. I can't blame Yildiz for everything that he's giving. But it's Yildiz is a bit sacrificed there on the left. He plays well. He's doing what he needs to do. He's doing what the coach is asking him to do. But unfortunately, it's not enough at the moment. to create some danger. So when you have a Yildiz, when you have a Conceição, when you have a Koopmeiners, regardless of who's playing up front, you should be a bit more dangerous. And that's on Thiago Motta. He needs to really work on that. Finishing on the podium, because I didn't tell you the podium in my ranking. Yesterday, Locatelli first. Third, I want to put Federico Gatti. Second, Conceição. Conceição was yesterday the only one that gave me a bit of that, okay, maybe something can happen. The header that Martinez saved, but also some dribbles there on the right side of the field entering the box. He was the only one. But it's individual initiatives. It's not, like an orchestra, a team. Something that I was expecting a bit more in some games of the season. Now, a lot of people are criticizing Cristiano Giuntoli. Flop. He spent the 200 million euro, was not able to find one good player. Disaster. Giuntoli out. Look, if we are analyzing and if we are objective about Giuntoli, he brings you in Kalulu and Conceição, that according to me are the two new players that are performing the best this season. You have a Thuram that is in constant growth. It's a prospect player that should have been a rotational player, starting some games on the bench. Now he's playing all of them, and he's doing also good. So I can't blame him on Kalulu, Conceição, and Thuram. Can I complain about Cabal? A player that comes out of nowhere, really cheap, that was doing his work, and he was doing well, so I can't complain on Cabal neither. Then we have the other players, the big money, where people can say, that's where Cristiano missed. Making abstraction of the other player that I just mentioned. Douglas Luiz, is it a mistake from Giuntoli that is bringing you one of the best midfielders of Premier League that played last year 53 games, if I'm not wrong, 53, scored 10 goals, or assisted 10 times, comes from continuity in terms of seasons, was an idol there at Aston Villa that he should have played the game yesterday being an ex. No, he can't predict that Douglas Luiz would have been injured, that Thiago Motta is asking him to come back earlier, and that unfortunately gets worse in his condition. He can't predict that. Nobody of us could predict that. It's beautiful that you are bringing in one of the top informed players from Premier League to Serie A. Nobody was complaining when we signed him. Nobody. The only one that were complaining were probably the Aston Villa fans that were pissed off that they took Barrenetxea and Ealing Jr. instead of letting go Douglas Luiz. So I cannot blame him. It's not because of Giuntoli. Then that Douglas Luiz is performing or not, it's another story. That he was unfortunate, it's another story. But Cristiano Giuntoli did his work there, did actually much more than his work. Also, the formula, that creative formula was really good. Then Koopmeiners. Look, Koopmeiners still has that capacity, guys. He can't forget from a few weeks to another. He can't forget the way of playing. He was the best Serie A midfielder. Let's not forget about that. So if Giuntoli is bringing you the best Serie A midfielder, he's able to do it. How long it took, but at the end he went for his Triple A objective, and he brought us the Triple A objective. I remember that some people were saying, if he's not able to bring us Koopmeiners, it's a disaster mercato. It's a flop mercato. Well, he brought us Koopmeiners. Then Koopmeiners is objectively not bringing at the moment what we are expecting from him. Is it on Giuntoli? I am not sure. You know what? You can blame two things on Giuntoli. The first one is Nico Gonzalez. Not because of the qualities of the player, because the player has qualities, but because he had already an injury record. So it was a player that a lot of people were already predicting, pay attention for physical condition. And when you sign a player for how much was it? 37 million euro? That would have had two roles. One, playing on the right side instead of Conceição, and also playing as a vice Dusan Vlahovic, because that was it. And you bet everything on a player that has already an injury record, and then you're looking for it. Then you're looking for it because everyone knew. And especially for that money. That's one. The second thing that you can blame him is that indeed you have bet on Nico Gonzalez as also being the vice striker and hoping that Milik would have been there earlier. Even if Milik would have been there earlier, you know that Milik has also there a huge big injury record. So you couldn't go, or you didn't go for a vice Vlahovic. What is the thing that you would be able to blame Giuntoli for? It's in the market. Because if he continues to say that he will fix things, or he will try to fix things in defense, he's always repeating that he's counting on Milik to come back. And there you are doing actually the same mistake. I have nothing against Milik, that if in form really gives his best. But if you know the physical conditions of Milik, if you're taking it again, then, oh, ragazzi, you're doing actually the same as what you did last winter. Bring Alcaraz and a Jalot for Max Allegri, while we were still competing for the Scudetto. Then we can blame Giuntoli. Can we blame him for the summer? I don't think so. That was it for the video. Mamma mia, I didn't think that it would have been a 20-minute video. Absolutely not. Because I'm not editing, I'm just speaking. Let me know, because I spoke about a lot of things, what you think about it in the comment section. Grazie, forza, Juve.